how to pass on the variables into the code from the pipeline section. Okay, so if you go to the pipelines and take any one pipeline, if you edit, in the edit mode, you will have multiple options. Under variables, you can add those variables. This is one way. The other way is you can create all the variables in variable group and you can link it. This way you can link it. But nowadays, in recent days, people started creating variables or some values out of Azure DevOps. They are not going to be in Azure DevOps. Why? Because let us take one example. So here in our variables only, if I go to variables, if I go to the variable groups, still I am saving my password here only. Still I am saving my password here only. So I can control this visibility by going to security. Who can see and on whom I should allow, whether they can see or not. And if I am a DevOps engineer, definitely there will be a reporting manager or there will be a reporting person for me. That person will be obviously have administrator access. If you go to security, the person will have administrator access. When he is administrator, he can unlock this at any time. That means still my password is visible to one person. Whether you create in variable group or whether you create here also. If you come here and if you create here, let's say the same one. Sorry. Yeah. So if you create in variable group or even if you create here, let's just say minute 1, 2, 3, and here also we have the same option log. But still they are open. So your administrator or your reporting manager can go to this pipeline, they can unlock and they can see your password. Somewhere around there is some risk to use passwords, especially passwords, not about usernames and some other things, especially passwords. It's risky. So what people are doing, they are creating or they are saving these kinds of secret values, passwords. Passwords are considered as secret values or confidential values. They are creating these values in Azure portal. So the URL to log in into Azure cloud is portal.azure.com. So the URL to log in into Azure cloud is portal.azure.com. So I already have account in Azure. I'm logging into that. Okay. This is my Azure portal. So whenever you enter into Azure portal, first thing you should have one subscription. If I go to your subscription, so you will have one subscription. So my subscription was a paid subscription. Why? Because Azure will give you free for only 30 days. Azure will give you free for only 30 days. After 30 days, either you need to upgrade it to paid account or you can use, there are some free services. So which are free for 12 months, not more than that, which are free for 12 months. So on both the cases, I crossed the limit. So I created this account for almost 3-4 years now. So I use First 30 days, I used it for free only. Even after 12 months also, I used some free services. Now I need to pay everything. Whatever I use inside Azure, I need to pay. Even here you can see, I'm paying. So I am paying some amount. So I used some services, so I got some bill. There is outstanding bill of 9 rupees. That's okay. Now, where you will create your secrets, where you will create your secrets. If you go to all services, here all services, here in all services, you will create, if you observed here, link secrets from an Azure Key Vault. Link secrets from an Azure Key Vault as variables. That means you can link secrets from Azure Key Vault as a variables into this variable group. So for that, what should I do? I will search for Key Vault. Yeah, I got Key Vaults. Here there are no Key Vaults right now. I will create a Key Vault. So I'm creating a Key Vault. So I selected my subscription. In Azure, whatever you create is considered as a resource. In Azure, whatever you create is considered as a resource. In simple terms, you should say one item. Every item is considered as a resource. So when you are creating a resource, that resource should be under a resource group. Why? Because Azure follows ARM model. ARM means Azure Resource Manager. ARM means Azure Resource Manager. So whatever you create inside Azure, those items should be grouped into one group. That group is called as resource group. That group is called as resource group. So every resource, every item, even resource group itself is considered as a one separate service. So resource group will be under subscription. Resource group will be under subscription. Your resources will be under resource group. That's why if you see, resource group is under subscription and your resources will be under resource group. So I need to select one resource group here. Let's say my sample group, and here my Key Vault name is my. Yeah, so these all are taken. These all are taken. So now everybody should get a doubt. Everybody should get a doubt. I am giving a name and the name is I am using in my account only. So I logged in as Rajesh Kumar.Muddam Sethi, and when I am giving a name, this name is already in use. This name is already in use. Why? Just now we have seen there are no key vaults. There are no key vaults, but still it says this name is already in use. So who is using this? Azure, Microsoft Azure is a public cloud. Microsoft Azure is a public cloud. Anybody can log in and they can create their own key vaults. So when I typed my first key vault and it says it is already in use, means it is not in your account. Maybe in some other's account, in some other region, the same name is being used. The same name is being used. So Microsoft will not allow to repeat the same name. Maybe not in your account, but in some other account, the same name is being used because I am a public cloud provider. So I will allow anybody to log in and create their own key vaults. So if they are using private cloud services, they can create, but we are public. So Microsoft Azure is public. This is not in my data center and I am not managing this. So for that purpose, what I will do, I will add my key vault. Definitely this is also will be used. I add some random number. Yeah, so this is not being used. So my key vault, random number. Where you where you want to host this. So I want to host this in US only. Why? Because US data centers will have less latency. Even though you are from India, I want to keep my service in US because US data centers will have less latency. Again, latency means the load time. How much time it takes to reach the website. So the load time. So pricing tier was standard. This is because I am paid user. That's why it is showing pricing tier, standard, premium. Okay. So if suppose by mistake I delete some walls, I want it to keep it for 90 days so that I can restore it back. Suppose I delete some walls by mistake, I want to keep it for 90 days so that I can keep it, I can restore it back. Next, access policy. This is something which is related to Azure only. You no need to think much about this. Then networking, keep networking as it is. So public endpoint. Public endpoint. That means you can access this from any point. You can access this from any network. If it is private, it will ask you all the details. It will ask you all the details. Why? Because when you are saying private, you are limiting some users. You are limiting some users, but when it is public, it is public. Then next, tags. So I already told you tags are something like a unique value or extra value by which you can differentiate your work items. So we have seen here in the work items concept. Here in work items concept. So the same tags. So if I go to the any bug. So I have bug ID 1147 and I have bug title sample bug. But I want to get to this without using this title or without using this number. Then what I can do? I can have a separate tag. I can have a separate tag. See now first bug. So when I am using filters, I can filter like tag equal to first bug. It will bring this bug only. But I don't know what is the value and what is the title. So the same way in Azure portal. So if you don't want to show the key vault name or if you don't want to show the thing, then what you can do, you can have a tag and you can give a value for that. So that in future, if you want to search, you can search with these tags only. You don't need to use the key vault name. But here I'm not going to create any tags. The final page is review and create. When you are creating a resource, there will be multiple categories: basics, access policy, networking, tags, and the final page is review and create. So in this page, all your details will be verified. Whatever details you have given in different categories. See here, this is basic section. So these all our details are okay, good. Nothing is error. In access policy, okay, everything is good. Networking, you have selected public. In tags, you have not given any tags. So all looks good. Validation passed. Now you can create the resource. Now you can create the resource. Create. Okay, so Azure may be little confusing for you. This is one of the top cloud provider. It's from Microsoft. So the top three cloud providers are Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, and Google Cloud Platform, GCP. They have their own short forms. Amazon Web Services is called as AWS. And Google Cloud Platform is called as GCP. And Microsoft Azure, there is no short form, it's just Azure. Azure. So now what it says, the deployment is completed, our resource is ready. So now go to resource. Yes, my key vault 929 is ready. So in this key vault, what I wanted to do, I wanted to keep my secrets. I wanted to keep my secrets. So if you observe this left side menu, there are many options. So where is secrets? Yeah, here I have secrets. Okay, here I have secrets. So right now there are no secrets. Right now there are no secrets. So I will create a secret. So generate or import. I will create a secret. So generate or import. Generate. So it's manual only. So it's manual only. If you have a certificate, you can upload the certificate and it will fetch the values from the certificate itself. It will fetch the values from the certificate itself. But today it's manual. We are going to create manual. So secret name is password. And the value is, so we already know the value is random value. So content type is optional. Activation date. Even though you are creating your secret today, but you can activate it later date. But I am keeping it today itself. So this is today only. Okay, this is today only. Expiration date. So when you are creating some passwords, definitely there will be some expiry date for your password. So for that purpose, you can set expiry date. Okay. Okay. By default, the expiry date will be 2 years. You observe. By default, the expiry date will be 2 years from the date. So we can modify the date. That's later part. I will show you. So you want it enable or disable. So I want it enabled. So there are no tags create. Yeah. Now my password is created. Okay. See, by default, the expiry date will be 2 years. You can modify it later. Okay. Now password is created and that is created in Azure Key Vault. That is not at all in Azure DevOps now. Now let's go back to Azure DevOps. So here, let's remove this password. Okay, I removed that password. I have two variables. One is location, another one is username. Now I want to link the variables from Azure Key Vault. So this is my subscription name. So when I try to connect to Azure, it will ask me to log in. Yeah. Now it is connected. So here you can see authorizing. So once it is connected to Azure, it will automatically bring my Key Vault names. It will automatically, yeah. Yeah, see, it brought my Key Vault 929. Oh, why it will ask another authorization. Yeah, so maybe as I'm doing for first time, it's asking authorization on both the cases. Yeah. So now you see, so connection done. If I go for add, here you see, there is only one secret in the Key Vault. So I'm selecting OK. Now it came here. Now it came here. Okay. Yeah, done. Save. Then save. So in the first variable group, I am going to save only my password. See, there is no value is visible here. In earlier case, we are able to see the value. If not you, at least your administrators can come here and they can remove the lock and they can see the value. But now they cannot see. So my password is safe in Azure portal. And no one will be able to access my Azure portal and no one knows my subscription details, everything. Now, so what I will do, I will unlink this for some time. I remember, so disable this task or remove, I can remove this task. So now only PowerShell script. And if I go back to the script, what is there in the script? So inside the script, I said this was executed by to log into the mission, the password. This mission was hosted. Okay, now I need username and location variables. So I can create those variables here itself. So username. Now I will change this as location will be cross check. I am giving different values, not the old values. So I'm coming to variable group. I will add this variable group. So here now yesterday I already told you. So we can use both cases. You can use variable groups along with pipeline variables as well. So it's not like that when you are linking variable group, you need to use only variable group. No. Variable group is something which you wanted to use special values or secret values or anything that you want to keep them in variable group. Remaining values you can keep within the pipeline itself. So these will be within the pipeline itself. Now everything looks good. Just save and run. Okay. Here I will give a proper comment using key vault from Azure. Okay, using key vault from Azure. So this comment, maybe in previous runs I am not giving any comment, but when you are practicing or when you are join any organization, always try to give a meaningful comment. Okay, always try to give a meaningful comment. Why? Because that will help your team members to see if there are any changes in the pipeline and why they are running this pipeline again and again. So whenever you run this pipeline, it's always better to give a proper comment. Save and run. So as I am using Key Vault from Azure, this may take another minute extra. Otherwise, it will be within 1 minute only. Yeah, I think it is running now. Yeah, it's running now. See, if you see the order of tasks that got implemented in this pipeline, so first one is build job started, and the next one it requested an agent from the Microsoft, so it got an agent. So this is the agent name. The next one is, so it's downloaded the secrets from Key Vault. See, download secrets from my Key Vault. If you remember, within the pipeline, I nowhere specified the Key Vault name. I just linked the variable group. So then it took all the source code from the repository, then it executed. Here you can see there is a space. So there is a space. The space is nothing but it covered with the hidden variable, the secret variable. So this was executed by Rajesh Kumar, the variable. Then this machine was hosted in Chennai data center. So everything is good. This is how you use variables even from Azure Key Vault as well. So it's not about you are creating variables within the pipeline or within Azure DevOps in variable group. So even you can create your secrets. It's not only about secrets. If you see, Key Vault supports all. It supports keys, it supports certificates, it supports secrets. So keys are something like you might have seen whenever you are installing Windows or any other softwares, they will have some keys. They will have some keys. So I will show you something like this, just to have a random idea. Would you go for something like this? Hmm. Not this one. Maybe, okay. Okay, maybe that was available only within corporate network. Now I'm in public network, I will not be able to access that network. So in general, uh, in my office environment, I am able to see some Visual Studio previous versions with their keys. Okay, it's not available in open. Yeah, so keys are something like product keys. Whenever you wanted to install Windows or any professional softwares which have valid licenses. So when it has some license, you need to have a proper license key. So those keys you don't want to express outside. So in that case, you can have them here. So create a key and have it here. And if you want to save some secrets, you can here. And certificates. See, these are all options. These are like same here only. So if you want to save secrets or keys or any certificates, if you go back to library, here you have secure files. Secure files are nothing but certificates only. So if you don't want to keep things here, you can keep it in Azure Key Vault and access this Azure Key Vault in pipelines. Access this Azure Key Vault in pipelines. Okay. So that's how you create variables in Azure portal and access that Azure portal key vaults in your pipelines. That's very easy, guys. This way you will understand what is key vault purpose as well. Now it is something like you know what is key vault in Azure. So you got an idea of Azure cloud and one of the service you are clear. I told you, right? So if I want to modify this, so if I want to modify this, so here I can update this date. I told you, right? Initially, when I'm modifying, the default value is 2 years. Now I can change this to just 1 year or any 1 month. So I can give the date itself. It's like 2023, right? Can make it 2022. So 1 year only. So I modified. I'm saving here. Okay. So if you want to verify your secret value, you can verify here. If you just click on show, it will show you. Everything is done. I have updated the expiry date. So now I am saving. So the secret updated. The secret updated. Now go back to Key Vault, right? Now if you see the date, it is now 2022. Earlier it is 2023. So Key Vaults is one of the major topic in Azure. So if you know about Key Vaults, it will help you. So even though you are like a DevOps engineer, it always better to know some Azure cloud services. Today we covered Key Vault as part of our pipelines only. It's not new topic. It's not any extra topic. So when you are using pipelines, how many ways that I can use variables in pipelines? Either I need to create within the pipeline or I need to create in a variable, in a variable group. No, I want to create separately. Nowhere. I don't want to specify anything within Azure DevOps portal. This is Azure DevOps portal, guys. The URL is dev.azure.com. So DevOps dev.azure.com. The Azure portal is portal.azure.com. So nowhere you are specifying your secret value within Azure DevOps portal. You are specifying in Azure portal only. But you are linking both by using subscription details and the Key Vault service. Okay. Now, continuing with our pipelines only. So with this, the second section of pipeline is covered. Variables. So all the options inside variables, how you can use variables, how you can pass on variables, everything is covered. Tasks, you already know. Now the third one is triggers. So what is trigger? The trigger itself says, triggering means when you want to start this, how you want to start this. Okay, trigger means when you want to start, how you want to trigger. So in pipeline, basically there are 4 triggers. So in your interview, this is one of the major question. They will ask you how many types of triggers are there in pipelines. How many types of triggers are there in pipelines? So they will expect 3 only, but I am telling you guys, you answer 4. And give them these answers. One is continuous integration. Another one is scheduled trigger. Okay, this is called CI trigger. Continuous integration trigger, scheduled trigger, then build completion trigger. Okay, build completion trigger. The other one is manual trigger. Okay, manual trigger. Manual trigger means you are starting the pipeline manually. So as of now, if you go back to the runs pipelines, runs. So these all runs are manual, guys. These all runs are manual. I started them manually. I triggered them manually. Okay. Literally, I started them or I triggered them manually. No automation at all. Now we will see how can we automate this trigger. So I don't want to come to the pipeline and I don't want to start this pipeline. I want this pipeline should start automatically. So for that we have 3 automation triggers and another one is manual trigger. When they ask you about triggers, say them 4. There are 3 automation triggers, one is manual trigger. So what are the 3 automation triggers? Continuous integration trigger, schedule trigger and build completion trigger. Now we will see what are these options. So what is continuous integration? You already know continuous integration means whenever there is a change in the source code, you want to take the source code as part of the build. Okay, whenever there is a change in the source code, you want to take the source code as a part of a build. So for that, continuous integration trigger will help you. Now I am enabling this continuous integration trigger. So see here I have enable button, enable, and it says, so what is the branch? Master. Okay. Why? Because here you can see we created this pipeline on master. So that's why by default it selected the master. So done. I'm not going to do anything. Save. Okay. Save. Here I will give comment as enabled CI. Enabled CI means enabled continuous integration. Save. If you remember, I have not started like save and queue. So I have done only save. Now, if I go back to pipelines, so the pipeline last run was 11 minutes ago. And even if you see here, it is like manually triggered. So 11 minutes ago, manually triggered. Now I go to repos. In pipelines. So I will change something. What it says, this was executed. I remove this line itself, guys. Now there is no hello world. So keep an eye on this. So the moment I commit to this change, The moment I commit this change, commit. So you will see a pipeline run here. Just wait for seconds. If I am not seeing, I need to refresh this page. Okay. Yeah, I got it. So it took some time. So load one new run. See, the run automatically created. Now it is running. So the pipeline is running. We already know this will take less than 1 minute. Yeah, done. So within 21 seconds, the actual time is 21 seconds only. The overall queue time is 27 seconds. So that just is run. So you remember that you removed the hello world line in the source code. Now if I go back, I just want to verify the script only. See, there is no hello world. So you updated the source code just now. Okay, and the build picked the latest source code, whatever change you have done, automatically. Even the build was not started manually. The moment you changed the source code, it picked the latest code and it ran the build and it is showing the latest output without the hello world line. Why? Because you removed it from the source code. Now if I go back to pipelines and see here, it says individual CI. See that the two runs. Previous run was manually triggered. Why? Because I manually triggered that. Now this one was CI, continuous integration. This one was CI, continuous integration. So the same, it's not like only one file. Now what? So the problem here is I'm executing, let's say, so if I create another file, it's not about only one file. You can modify any other file. Even if you modify some other file also, it will take up. So yeah, now I just want to show you another thing. So here what it says, so I'm using this pipeline task file. Okay, I am using this pipeline task file. So whenever I change this pipeline task file, this build might be triggered. Okay, but it's not the case. When you enable the CI, for any change in the repository, the build will trigger. So now I will do another change. Let's say file 6. So I will modify this. This file was modified. This file was modified to test CI. Commit. So now if you come here, you go here. See, error already started. So this is what I wanted to show you. So the CI is created on branch level, not at a file level. The CI is created on branch level. So within this branch, you can touch any file or you can modify any file. The moment you commit the change, okay, a build will trigger automatically. Whether you are using that file in your pipeline or not, it will trigger. So continuous integration trigger is for all your changes in the repo, you want to trigger your pipeline. So that's how you enable continuous integration. And whenever someone changes into the repository, Whenever they commits any change into the repository, the build will trigger automatically. Okay, so this is CI trigger. That is CI trigger. Now, what is the next trigger? Scheduled trigger. Scheduled trigger. Let's disable this. Then scheduled trigger. It says add. It says add. So what I need to add? When you want to trigger this build at a specific time. So what is continuous integration trigger? So whenever a user changes something in the repository, the build will be triggered. But now I don't want to trigger every time the user commits the changes. For suppose in a day, a developer can create multiple changes. Let's example 10 changes. He came to the office and he done 10 changes in a day. So for 10 changes, the build will run 10 times. For 10 changes, the build will run 10 times. In our case, we are lucky that our builds are taking very less time. Our builds are taking very less time. If you consider, even if you consolidate all these, they are like 18 seconds, 20 seconds. So if you if you include them together, everything will be 10 minutes only. Less than 10 minutes, I believe. Why? Because everything is less than 30 seconds. So 10 minutes only. But in organization structure, for every build minute, they need to pay, guys. Now again, I will show you something important thing. So if you go to organization settings, okay, there is a billing concept. There is a billing concept. Every month, okay, every month you will get only 1800 free minutes, guys. 1800 free minutes. So 1800 means it's 30 hours only. 30. 30 hours. 30 hours for 30 days. 30 hours for 30 days. Which is not at all sufficient for an organization. Not at all sufficient for an organization. So if the organization has 100 developers, okay, if the organization has 100 developers, if 100 developers commits 10 times in a day, that means 100 into 10,000. And for suppose if the build taking more than 1 minute, so in our case, our builds are taking less than 1 minute, okay, less than 1 minute. For suppose their builds are taking more than 1 minute, let's say 2 minutes. So they are doing it for 1000 times and the build time is 2 minutes. Overall 2000 minutes. 2000 minutes. 2000 minutes got completed within 1 day, guys. 2000 minutes got completed within 1 day. Even they completed 800 minutes only. The remaining 200 minutes, the builds are not running because there are no available agents. Why? Because Microsoft agents will give you only 1800 minutes free build time. Remaining build time, you need to pay money. You need to pay money. So that's the reason most of the organizations, they will not prefer CI unless it is very, very important. Important in the sense, if someone changes something in the source code, immediately they want to get the changes. In that scenarios only, they will enable CI. Generally, they will enable schedule trigger only. Why? Because schedule trigger is something, it will take all the changes in a day. For suppose 9 to 6 is your office time. 9 to 6 is your office time. So your developers come at 10 o'clock and they will work till 5 o'clock. So 10 to 5, almost 7 hours. In 7 hours, your developers, let's say, as I said, they will have 100 developers. If each one did one change, so there will be 100 changes. That means your build pipeline should run 100 times. When you run it 100 times, there will be lot of conflicts. So when you are running one pipeline, the other pipeline will not start. So when the other user doing some changes, the user cannot do changes. So there are some conflicts. So what's the further purpose? What you will do? You will not enable CI trigger. You will enable schedule trigger outside of office hours. Okay, outside of office hours. That means 5 o'clock your office is done. 6 o'clock everybody left. So you will create a schedule at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening. So when you are using schedule trigger, please make sure that you are selecting the time zone as per your office location. Please make sure that you are selecting the time zone, this one, as per your office location or as per your development team location. As a DevOps engineer, you may be working from India. But your developers may be working from America. So when they asked you, Rajesh, please schedule this bill every day at 8 p.m. That means you need to select their location. If they are from US, so this is US time zone. First you need to select the US time zone, then 8 p.m. So this is 24 hours format, 8 p.m. is 20. So now this is in US time zone 8 p.m. If you select India time zone, then that will be morning for them. If there is something broken, the entire day will go for them to fix the issue only. So that's why whenever you are using the schedule trigger, make sure that you are selecting proper time zone and right time. So today is Tuesday, and this is about your working days. If your team is working on Monday to Friday, you can select Monday to Friday. If they work on Saturday, Sunday, also you can select Saturday, Sunday. So even though you are not there in office, on every Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m., this bill will trigger automatically. Now I want to try this in India, so I will select Indian time zone. Make sure that you know the time zones properly, guys. So India is UTC plus 5:30. Okay, India is UTC plus 5:30. Europe is UTC plus or minus 0. That means UK. So plus or minus 0. Yeah, see London. UTC plus 0. UTC plus 0. Plus 0 means plus or minus 0. That is UK. And coming to US, US will have different time zones. So it starts from UTC minus 5 only. It starts from UTC minus 5 only. Yeah. So UTC minus 5 is Eastern US. UTC minus 6 is Central US. UTC minus 8 is Pacific US. Then something UTC minus 12 coordinated sometimes. So Alaska is UTC minus 10. So US will have different time zones. It's again based on your state where they are saying. Is it Central America or Eastern America or Western America? But for now, it is India UTC plus 5:30. Australia is UTC plus 10, guys. If you go to UTC plus 10, you will see Australia. See UTC plus 10, Melbourne, Sydney. At least you should know these 4 timelines. Australia, the corner point of our world. So UTC plus 10, India, UTC plus 5:30, Europe, UTC plus 0, and US, UTC minus 5 or minus 8 based on the location. So minus 5 is Eastern, minus 8 is Western. Okay. Now I am selecting India only. So now it is 8:10. So I will make it 8:11. 8:11. Save. Okay. So yeah, it's already 8:11. I am expecting a run. If I missed the time zone, I need to make it again 8:12. Let's refresh. Yeah, started. Luckily, we are at the right time. See, now you can see the differences. So the previous one is manually triggered. Yesterday's one is manually triggered. I mean the first one. And after that, we have triggered 2 CIs. One is by changing the pipeline task file. Another one is by changing the file 6 file. Pipeline task and file 6. And after that, we created a scheduled trigger. So we wanted to run this build at 8:11 a.m. So exactly it triggered at the 8:11 a.m. only. So here also you can see it is scheduled. It is scheduled. The same way you can go back and you can see here, if you click on this, it says, what is this? Yeah, it is individual save only, but triggered by this user. Why? Because this user committed some change. This user committed some change. Here you can see it's individual CI. So individual CI for Rajesh. Manually triggered for Rajesh. And this is scheduled for me. This is scheduled. Okay. So that is how you create continuous integration triggers and how you create scheduled triggers based on your country or your office location or your development team's location. Okay. Now I am deleting this. The next one is build completion trigger. Here it is disabled. I am not able to add. Why? Because the build completion trigger is something if there are multiple builds in your project. Okay, if there are multiple builds in your project, you want to start this build. Let's say my build name is first project CI. You want to start this build when some other build got completed. When some other build got completed. So I will save this for now and I will go back. I will create a sample simple pipeline just to have a build completion trigger. So new pipeline, go for classic. Let it be empty job. So this says A2 and I will add a PowerShell sample task, add, and I will go for inline script. Why? Because there are no other file to select. This build will trigger. Okay, this build will trigger the other build. Save. Okay, save. Just save only. Now, if I go back to pipelines, all see there are two builds. This was not this build will not have at least one run, no runs at all. But this has many runs. Here I will go to edit. Now if I go for triggers, see I got this button enabled. Why? Because there is a second build. Earlier there is no builds at all. So when you wanted to have build completion trigger, at least you should have some other build so that whenever the other build completes, this build will be triggered. So add to yes, master, save. Now what I will do, what I will go to pipelines. I will trigger the first build, all. Just no. See, the last one was 5 minutes ago, and I am into this pipeline. Okay, I am into this pipeline. Now, I am not touching this pipeline. I am into the second pipeline, CI2. So run pipeline, everything is common, run. So leave this pipeline, it will be completed anyway. Come here, just observe. So this will be completed anyway. Some queued status. Queued. Taking more than expected. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it started. So the time started. That means it got an agent. Yeah, it's running now. Anyway, it will be completed. Now wait here. Yeah, that's completed. Yeah, see, a run started automatically. The moment this build got completed, a build triggered automatically here. So now if I click on this load, see, it says build completion. So manual trigger, CI trigger, schedule trigger, build completion. So literally there are 4 triggers, right? That's why whenever you get an interview question, answer them with 4, not with 3. Then he will ask you why there are 4, there should be 3, right? Yeah, 3 are automated. But if you want to trigger manually, that also considered as a trigger, right? You are triggering it manually. That's a manual trigger. Why? Because triggering is something, starting a pipeline. You may not be the person who created the pipeline, but you are starting it. That means manually triggering. So for that purpose, it's a manual trigger, considered as manual trigger only. So I can manually trigger the pipeline. I can trigger the pipeline with CI. I can trigger the pipeline with schedule, or else I can trigger the pipeline with a build completion. So these are the types of triggers available in Azure pipelines: CI, scheduled, build completion, and manual. Okay. So this is how you automate things. Whenever there is a change, whenever there is a schedule, or whenever there is a build which got completed, because of that build, you want to trigger your build. So this is automation. So this is the major purpose of DevOps engineering. So you are automating things which used to be manual. The moment once you create this pipeline, it will be there forever. Whenever this build pipeline completes, every time this pipeline will trigger automatically. No manual work, no human work. So that's where we automate things. Okay, tomorrow we will see the other options.